Hey guys, what's up? Nullrage here with another skill overview. This time we're taking a look at Silver Surfer, the Herald of Galactus. Let's hop in and have a look. Now, this video is going to be a little bit different than my previous skill overviews in that I've actually had a few days to play around with Silver Surfer. Been helping out the whitelisters with a little bit of internal testing, and I gotta say, Silver Surfer is amazing so far, and he's been getting better day by day. Alright, so I've gone ahead and put in 1 point into every skill like I do normally. Before we get into that though, let's have a look at Silver Surfer's synergy. His level 25 synergy is going to be 3% movement speed, and his level 50 synergy is going to be 2% energy damage. He's going to have 2 launch costumes. One is going to be the one you're looking at right there, and the other one is not on Test Center just yet. I believe it's some savage thing. There'll be a link to what it really looks like in the description below. Sorry on the spacing of the name of that. I forgot it. Anyway, of course, no gear. So all the skills are going to be baseline. Let's have a look at what they do. He's got 3 trees. Starting off, we've got Power Cosmic. In the middle, we've got Starfarer. And over here, we've got the World Sculptor. Let's start with the Power Cosmic tree first. First things first is Refracting Beam. It's going to be a 5-target bouncing attack, basically. It's not a basic attack. It's a ranged Spirit Spender or Cosmic Power Spender, which to me just seems kind of like Spirit with a fancy color. It does have some cool interactions, but it works mostly just the same as Spirit, only there's 10 times as much of it. And for those of you whose eyes just lit up thinking of Macron Crystal, like mine did when I first heard about this, Macron Crystal got changed. I figure I'd just let you know about that right now. Macron Crystal now, instead of doing the crit damage thing that it used to do, it gives 500 damage rating, which is actually an upgrade for most people. But for the huge spirit costers, you know, that would pretty much have cemented him at near 40% crit or something like that. Anyway, enough of that. Let's hop in and have a look at Refracting Beam. You can see it doesn't use up too much Power Cosmic. You can get out quite a few attacks before you're drained. I think now, remember, this is all Test Center stuff, so it's likely to change over the next few days. But I think the damage on this is a bit low for my tastes. We'll see if it goes up over the next few days. Next up, we've got Cosmic Beam Array, which is the one and only basic, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, it is his one and only basic at the moment. Again, Test Center. But Cosmic Beam Array is a very interesting power. Instead of having a target of its own, it says microbeam energy damage, blah blah blah, randomly fires at up to 3 enemies in front of you. Now at the current time, I can go over here and hold it down and it doesn't actually target anybody because there's nobody near me. But if I go over here, it randomly targets
no more
anything within a very long range. It's actually really nice. What's the max range? It's hitting things off screen, so that's pretty awesome. There, it actually I don't think it's hitting anything now. No, it's hitting something. Otherwise, it wouldn't be doing the animation. Yeah, it's hitting this dude right here. So it can actually hit things off screen. But sometimes the targeting on this skill will feel a little weird. But as basics go, I think it's a very strong basic attack. Next up, we've got Subspace Rift. This is going to be one of your main skills and it's probably his coolest coolest skill graphic-wise, in my opinion, or animation or whatever. Let's have a look at Subspace Rift. Opening a hole to wherever it is that is. He does tons of damage and applies vulnerability to anything hit. That's pretty cool. Next up, we've got Deconstruct, and Deconstruct and the skill over here, Reconstruct, they play together, and I'll talk about that. Actually, we'll talk about that right now, but first let's find out what Deconstruct does when you use it. When you use Deconstruct, you're going to do some energy damage to everything around you twice per second for 6 seconds. You're going to restore 50 power cosmic when you hit a deconstructed enemy. Anybody with the damage dot on them, if you hit them with any other power, you're going to regen 50 cosmic power, which that was, like I was saying, the interesting mechanics or whatever that are a little bit different from Spirit. You know, you can apply this and keep your power cosmic up. It's very nice. Now it plays in with Reconstruct over here, in that reduces the cooldown of Reconstruction by 6 seconds. Now you'll notice the cooldown is 12 seconds. So used properly, these two skills can cause each other to have almost no downtime, because the debuff rather, the dot is 6 seconds long, and then at the end of that 6 seconds you pop Reconstruct to reduce the cooldown of Deconstruct for that other 6 seconds, and then throw it back up. I really like the way these two skills play together, and since we're talking about it anyway, Reconstruct does regenerate 140 health per second and restore power cosmic when you're hit. Again, the buff duration is 6 seconds, cooldown of 12 seconds, used in conjunction with Deconstruct. The uptime is almost 100%. Let's go with 90% because there's room for error there. Anyway, next up, actually, let's have a look at Deconstruct, because I didn't even use that skill, did I? Wait, that was the, oops. Alright, Deconstruct. Very cool animation. And there's the dot. The damage on this is extremely nice. Alright, next up, we've got Electromagnetic Flux. Now, this is a very interesting ability. Most abilities have charge up damage. I think this is the first one that increases damage by channeling it. Now there are other channeling abilities, repulsor or what's it called? I don't know. Iron Man's got some. Miss Marvel has one, and Cyclops has one, and tons of other characters, I'm sure, that I'm completely forgetting. But this one is a little bit different from those in that it selects one target, channels onto that target, and increases damage twice. Once the damage goes up by 100% after channeling for 1 second, and then the second tier 200% after channeling for 2 seconds. Now the damage on this scales up very nicely. In addition to the base damage that you're dealing to that single target, where it says energy damage there, it also does microbeam damage, which have we dealt with microbeams yet? Yeah, we've dealt with microbeams in Cosmic Beam Array. So they work similar to Cosmic Beam Array, the microbeams on Electromagnetic Flux, in that they just randomly target anything around you. But let's see what the damage on a single target looks like.
Please forgive me. Ah!
You see channeling here on this one target. Well, I'm out of spirit now. But your main beam goes after one target here, and you've got micro beam damage going after anybody else that gets close. Sort of like Chaos Nexus, which is a rune for disintegrate in that game that won't be named. Any of you who played it know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, next up we've got Power Unconquered, which of course is the passive in Power Cosmic. Is it his only passive? I think it may be his only passive. Well, there's a passive effect on that, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I think it's his only passive. Right now, it gives you damage and crit. The effects of it are increased by 50% for 8 seconds when you use a movement power, which we're going to be using a lot of those. Those are over here. But really the scaling, it doesn't impress me too much. I think it could be stronger. Alright, next up, we've got Event Horizon, which is his signature. It's going to work very similarly to Subspace Rift. It's just a ground target, AoE, 8-second duration, 30-second cooldown, but 99% decreased move speed to anything in that area. So it pretty much stops anybody from moving. In addition, I think it sucks everybody in. I've used it a few times in Midtown and seen everybody just get pulled right into it. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it sucks people in. I hope my memory's correct on that, because I can't really show it off on that effect, at least on the target dummies here. Alright, so let's show off Event Horizon. Let me get my bar back. I like that animation. Starts as this big massive black hole and just sinks to the middle and just pulls everybody in. That's awesome. Used in conjunction with Subspace Rift, you've got some massive point blank AoE that you can do. Next up, we've got Supernova, drawing in an immense amount of energy into your body and then unleash it in a radiant shockwave of light. First thing, you're going to, like it says, pull in energy. It's gonna take about 0.5 to 1 seconds or so, and then you're gonna do massive energy damage to everything around you. I say massive. You're gonna do mediocre energy damage to everything around you. You will also, the main thing about this ability though is it's restore 10% maximum power cosmic over 1.5 seconds. This is what you're really using this skill to do, because due to the amount of power cosmic that Surfer has here, most of your spirit on hit kind of things, effects like that, artifacts, Hand and Nimrod, and all the other, and what's the one I'm using right here? River of Soul for that 6 power cosmic on hit. What is 6 power cosmic out of 3,000? Not much. So your main source of getting your power cosmic back is going to be between your abilities here, your Deconstruct, which we talked about before, and Supernova. 10% of your maximum power cosmic, pretty solid. Not to mention the cooldown is only 4 seconds. That's some pretty good spirit return. Alright, let's have a look at what that looks like. Very cool animation. And you can use it so quickly. You're pretty much going to be using this all the freaking time. Alright. Now I guess we're moving on to his Starfarer tree. First off, we've got Board Dash. This is probably one of my favorite abilities. Use your board to propel you forward while simultaneously projecting energy beams in front of you to clear the path. Anything you pass through with your board is going to do energy damage to it, and you'll be shooting out micro beams as you go. Now, these micro beams can hit pretty much anything on the screen. I've seen them shoot things that I did not think they could reach. In addition to that damage, each consecutive dash increases the power cosmic cost by 25% and the total damage by 10%. The more you use it, the more damage it's going to do, but it's going to cost more too. Let's have a look at Board Dash. You can see
cannot focus.
Cost of it goes up quite quickly, but so does the damage. I think it's a very nice ability. Used in conjunction with a lot of the other skills that we're about to talk about. Oh man, so good. In fact, there's one right now, Comet's Tail. It's got a passive effect that allows you to pass through enemies and objects while moving. I guess you get that just by putting a point into the skill, which is there by default. Anyway, then when toggled on, where's it at? There we go. Comet's Tail. When toggled on, your move speed will increase by 3%, and you will create a cosmic wake, while moving at the cost of 250 power cosmic per second. Now that may sound like a lot, but when I start moving, just watch what happens. You can see I'm moving here, and my regen basically has that power cost covered. It's not taking away too much power cosmic here. And if I stop, the power cosmic drain stops completely and my spirit goes back up. Power cosmic, whatever. I'm gonna call it spirit like for the rest of forever. Sorry guys. Now you can see I can move through enemies at will and just leave a trail of cosmic destruction in my wake. Like I said, used in conjunction with Board Dash, you're going to be dashing through enemies, hitting them with micro beams, and leaving that trail of damage over time. And we're not even to the main bread and butter of this build, or this section of his talent trees. Next up is Board Sweep. Swing your board in a hard-hitting arc, knocking enemies senseless. You're going to do some energy damage. You're going to apply a weakening effect. And it's got a cooldown of 4 seconds. The cooldown, however, is reduced by 1 second when you hit with a movement power. Now let's just count how many things are tagged as movement powers in his tree. First off, we've got Board Dash. Next, we've got sorry guys, must have a hair in my throat or something. Anyway, next up we've got Soar, but of course that doesn't do any damage, so we're not going to count that. Then we've got Repulse. We'll talk about that in a minute. We've also got Co-Locate. We'll talk about that in a minute. And Death from Below is not tagged as movement power. It does have some movement components to it, but again, we'll talk about that later. So it's mostly going to be Board Dash and Repulse. I recommend using Board Dash as it's probably going to do the most damage. So what's Board Sweep look like? I don't think I put it on the bar. I am a failure. Let's just switch everything down here so it's all on var. Okay, good. Now board sweep is a simple 360 AoE. Nothing too fancy, but when you dash through things, you can see the cooldown resets pretty quickly. Let's get some spirit back. Alright, so that's board sweep. Next up we've got, well, soar. Let's show off that too. Stick it there. And this is one thing that the devs have worked hard on. They worked hard to make the animations cool, and he's got this turn thing he does when he's making a turn. He actually leans into it as if he was on an actual surfboard. I can't seem to get him to do it. I see a little bit of lean when I go to the left, but anyway, it's a very cool animation. He's got his arms behind him like he does in the comics when he flies. Flying straight at you, the Herald of Galactus. Alright. Now let's hop on down to Repulse. Repulse is another very cool ability. I love the way it works. Now making it do damage, that's another story. Reposition yourself using a swift motion on your board, blasting pursuers with a surge of cosmic beams. This is your basic jump back ability. A lot of characters have something similar. Fallback blast on somebody, I don't know. I remember the name, but not the character it was attached to. But anyway, is a good example of this type of ability, and all it really does is the direction you've got your mouse pointing. Let's go with that one. No, other skill. Oops, wrong skill. Repulse. I fall back away from my mouse, sending a bunch of
my power.
micro beams to cover my tracks. It's actually a really nice ability, and it's very fun used in conjunction with a lot of his other movement skills. It's a very unique playstyle. Next up, we've got co-locate. Use a wormhole to instantly teleport to a location, emitting a burst of gamma rays on arrival, irradiating anything at said location. Said location? Well, if you get there with co-locate, it's probably going to be a sad location once you get done with it. It's going to do some pretty nice energy damage. The power cost on it, though, is huge. That's nearly half my power cosmic right there on that power cost, just for a teleport ability. Now, down below it, though, restore 50% of the power cosmic cost if you hit an enemy, making it a fairly usable ability. However, it excludes it from being a real, movement teleport through an instance thing, as you can only use it like twice and then you're out. But if you go back here to a dummy, you can see, well, you can sort of use it a few more times, but anyway, it's still got a pretty hefty cost. However, watch the power cosmic bar there when I use it. You can see how it dips down but then jumps back up. So it's restoring that 50% power cosmic when you hit. Now we move on to Death from Below. Now this is the big hitter in this Starfarer tree, and when I say big hitter, I mean big. This thing does a lot of damage, and it has an effect on it. It has an 8-second cooldown for a lot of damage, and the cooldown is reduced by 1 second when you hit with a movement power. Again, I recommend Board Dash. Repulse isn't currently working, but it should be working to reduce the cooldown once it goes live, as it is tagged with a movement power. Co-locate also works to reduce the cooldown. Death from Below. Amazing animation, tons of damage. Let's see it. I love that. He just flies right up, and if you're over here, you can use it as a pretty effective just teleport to wherever you need to go. Tons of damage, and I like to use it in conjunction with board sweep. So I'll just like Death from Below, and then board sweep. No. Oh, right. Keys are in the wrong place. Oh, there's another ability you could throw into the mix. So you do you start Supernova, you dive in, you blow up and hit them with a board sweep, all in one. Huge burst damage AoE combo. Just one Mogian.
It is a miracle you still stand.
And then finish them off with whatever you need to. Actually, falling from that combo, go into Deconstruct, then drop Subspace Rift on them, then okay, now we're getting into the DPS rotation. That will be covered in some of my gameplay videos, which there should be a link to those in the description if you're interested. Now we move on to World Sculptor. Most of what you're going to find here are just some the toggles that we talked about. No, we didn't talk about the toggles. We just talked about Reconstruct here. So let's talk about the toggles. Polarity Field and Cosmic Resonance. These, just like Comet's Tail, are listed as cosmic gifts, of which you can have 2 active at any one time. I usually prefer Comet's Tail and, once it's unlocked, Cosmic Resonance. However, Polarity Field here is a great toggle for leveling up. It's going to give you some defense, some projectile deflection, and some passive regen. In addition to that, while toggled on, you've got a damage absorption effect. 20% of the damage taken is absorbed by your power cosmic at a cost ratio of 1 power cosmic for each 0.7 damage absorbed. So it's sort of similar to, I believe Human Torch has a damage shield sort of like this, and maybe Jean Grey as well. I can't remember anybody else right offhand that has a damage absorption effect like that. However, Firestar can apply one as a team-up hero to anybody that she's equipped to. I don't really like that choice, though. I think her other selection for that slot is better. Anyway, then we've got Reconstruct, which we talked about earlier. It's going to regenerate some HP. It's going to restore power cosmic when you get hit. Of course, use it in conjunction with Deconstruct. Deconstruct, Reconstruct. Deconstruct, Reconstruct. Build, destroy. Build, destroy. Next up, we've got your basic CC breaker, Hyperspace Sidestep. And finally, well, not finally, we've got one down here. This is an interesting ability. I'd like to see some changes to this personally. I don't think it. I'm so hotkey starved on Silver Surfer when I'm playing him that I just don't have room for this one, and I'd really like to use it. It's a 5-second stun. That's pretty huge. Anyway, temporal recall. Activate to create a localized temporal distortion field, stunning nearby enemies and allowing you to move quicker and act much quicker. To move and act much quicker. When you would be defeated, use your indomitable cosmic power to suddenly alter the time stream to have never been defeated in the first place. I wonder, does that create a paradox? I don't know. Time travel makes me nauseous. Anyway, let's have a look at temporal recall. If I remember correctly, it's got a pretty cool animation. Again, I found it difficult finding a space on my bar for this because I was so hotkey starved with all the other stuff I was doing. But here's what it looks like. 5-second stun and 10% increased attack and move speeds. You can see the attack speed go up there a little bit. It does, of course, have a massive cooldown. 45-second cooldown. That's actually longer than his signature. So, hopefully that's worth it. How's it scale when you put points in? The revive effect actually goes down quite a bit, the cooldown on it. 7.6 minutes at 20 points. And the attack and move speed go up by only 5% with all your points put into it. The cooldown, however, reduces as well. Okay, that's pretty decent then, because that actually increases the uptime of this buff by a lot more. It's still underwhelming to me. Maybe some of you guys will find a use for it, but I don't think I will. Next up, we've got, now when I saw this early on in Silver Surfer development, I was like, wait, what? That's so strong. It's not quite as strong as I was thinking it was, but it has a nice effect that we'll talk about after we go over it. Cosmic resonance. Attune your energy to resonate with fundamental cosmic frequencies of the universe to imbue the matter of your body with special properties. This is, of course, a cosmic gift, which means you can only have two, Comet's Tail, Polarity Field, Cosmic Resonance. 2 of these 3 can be on at any one time. So what does Cosmic Resonance do? Well, that's up to you. You've got a number of different effects here that you get to choose which one you want to have on. Now, you do have to scroll through them to get them on. When you first hit it, down here in your buff bar, I got toughness that time, but what if I don't want toughness? Now I've got accuracy. So you just turn it off, turn it back on, and you'll end up with another buff. Now I've got endurance. I like to go with power when it's just me. Constitution could be really good, giving you 210 regen, 210 life per second. But this is my personal favorite. Power right here, damage rating, attack speed, and movement speed, which is always fun on Surfer. Alright, so that's all the skills in his tree. Last thing we've got is convergence here. Now I'm actually going to go over here to the other test dummies to show this off. But let's talk about it first. Convergence. Become a resonating conduit of power cosmic, causing an initial explosion as you draw from the infinite energy stream underpinning the universe. I've never heard that word before. Anyway, like it says, you're going to do some massive energy damage, and then you're going to be invulnerable for 20 seconds. Let's go over here and almost die to this dude. This dude? Nah. This dude. Yeah. Hey, yo, shoot me.
If I am not
Oh,
healed
God.
soon, the universe will fall.
That was actually bad. I think I procced my yeah, yeah, definitely. I procced my temporal recall. I didn't think I'd die in 2 shots. Okay. But let's fix that problem.
Hydra reigns
Okay,
supreme.
or not. So there's a little bit of a cast animation. Take that into account, guys. Very, very difficult to time out cast animation. I'm gonna go here and just pop it first thing and see if I live. Oh, I lived. Okay. Just barely. But now I'm invulnerable, and he can't hurt me. Awesome. I can hurt him, though. That's what you get for killing me twice. I think he killed me twice. I better get out of here before he kills me a 3rd time. Anyway, 20 seconds of invulnerability. Again, guys, take into account that cast animation. If you don't, it might get you killed. Alright, guys, that is Silver Surfer. Let's see, we've gone over his synergy. We've gone over his powers. I can't go over his secondary costume as it's not on the test center yet. However, unlike most of my other what do you call them, skill overviews, there are some gameplay videos that will accompany this. Check them out in the description, and let me know what you guys think of Silver Surfer. You guys gonna pick him up with a pre-sale pack? You gonna buy him with splinters? Do you think he'll be amazing? I think he's gonna be pretty cool. Again, this is test center footage, so everything is subject to change. Keep that in mind. Until next time, guys, take it easy. Have a good one. Peace.